Bob, it's an exciting time of year, another year of Whitworth Pirate softball. Uh, Whitworth just had its first official games of the 2024 season, but before we talk about our weekend in Southern California, just talk about how this team has come together. It's an interesting mix of key pieces back from last year,
Mm-hmm.
but also some new pieces that you're fitting in. How
Mm-hmm.
has that all come together, and how have practices gone?
I think I got to see a little bit of that come together this weekend. I've enjoyed it. It's interesting. I'm learning that each year is different. Each team can be different, even though you want the same sort of culture and the same discipline and the same efforts and attitudes. That may or may not always work out. I think having so much leadership on this team, so many players that have been through their last 3 years and going into their fourth year, and the type of, I think, genuine people, the hearts that we have, the desire to want to be better, and how I think this group has taken our incoming players and has kind of taught them the ways a little bit. And then we have that great mix of returners that are in that junior sophomore sort of area. The balance has been really, really unique, and the competition has been outstanding. Wondering how much depth we really have, and how our attitudes are going to stay in a positive way when we start working out, playing time, and those sort of things. It's been fun to watch in the early going, and it'll be interesting to see how we progress throughout the year as a team.
So you got to put that, like you said, to the test a little bit this weekend, and it's always a challenging weekend because you go to Southern California. You're not only playing teams that have gotten to practice outside for weeks, and we haven't been outside, or if we have been, it hasn't been on a softball field. But teams that are generally pretty good. So 3-3 on the weekend, a split of every day. How are you feeling coming out of this first weekend?
Yeah, I think specifically, I thought we'd come out 4-2. I really knew that Redlands was going to be good. Not only did those, with the exception of one team, not only did one team, did the other two teams have a lot of practices outside, even though they dealt with rain in LA. They've played actual games, and no matter what we do to try to simulate or to try to let them know about Redlands, for instance, the speed of Redlands, the being ready for the next play, the things that we knew we had to do, we talk about it, we try to practice it, but until you really see it and we get balls off of actual dirt, that's just hard things to teach. Those trips are great for us. How they've changed, without going into all the details, those trips have changed for us over the years, where we needed those wins, we needed the in-season or the in-region wins, those sort of things. Now we know we just need to use those games to make sure we get better. We come out of there as a better ball team. So we learn where our inefficiencies are. We learn what our strengths are. And I think we got to see a lot of that. We were able to distribute some innings, get some players who have not even seen college action before, to get them to feel and see that. Now our expectations start to get higher. We start to we have less excuses now moving forward, Steve. And we got what we wanted out of all three of those days. Redlands was really good. Pomona pitchers well coached. Laverne on games 5 and 6 for us of the weekend, and those were games 1 and 2 for them on the year. Those are some things that we will see in conference this year.
Things don't get much easier for you this weekend. You're going down to LeGrand, Oregon. Been a while since the Pirates have played in LeGrand. Talk about the quality that you'll see at Eastern Oregon.
Yeah, really like their coach. This is also the time of year where teams like that are figuring out what they've got coming back, how hard they have worked, and how those new pieces will fit in. I anticipate that ends up being a top 25 type of program. NAIA can be really, really difficult. You may never know what you get with some of those teams, but this is a challenging test. This is the type of schedule we want going in, facing the type of play that we get in the Northwest Conference, which I would argue is still one of the toughest conferences in the country from top to bottom. And we have loaded up our schedule against quality opponents, so that prepares us for a really tough conference. And Eastern Oregon, you're right, it's been a while since we've been there. It's fun for us, I think, to play teams in our area that we have potentially lost recruits to, or that they have players that may have wanted to come to us at one time. There's really good softball in our area, in our region, and we've got a lot of players that I think are great local players that we'll get to see in this game and as we go against Central Washington in a couple of weeks. I think it's really fun for our program.